Welcome to Tantra Tuesdays. I am going to talk today about one of the most basic aspects of Tantra, which I consider the path of love and utilizing our sexual energy to reach spiritual enlightenment, evolution, and unity consciousness. And so, one of the very first things I'd love to talk about is this aspect that you hear about a lot in Tantra called Kundalini Shakti. And Kundalini Shakti is this serpent energy, where Kunda means coiled, and Lini means energy, so coiled up energy, and that is said to rest at the base of our spine, right around our Muladhara chakra, our first chakra. And so right there at that foundation lies this energy, Kundalini Shakti, that is so important and available for us to be able to unleash it and bring it up through our chakras so that we can utilize it for our spiritual evolution. And so it's just there, just waiting for us to awaken it. And how do we awaken it? How do you awaken it? There's many ways, and some of the wonderful ways you have most likely already been doing. So a little note about Tantra and yoga is that if you've been doing yoga, you've also been doing Tantra, because yoga comes from the tantric roots, and you can't separate yoga and Tantra. And so the wonderful thing is that when you've been practicing yoga, sometimes you hear the teachers say, engage mulabhanda, right? That lift at the pelvic floor. That is already practicing the awakening of Kundalini Shakti, which is essential in the path of Tantra. And the postures of yoga, right? The yoga asanas that you do, those also help to awaken Kundalini and unlock parts of your body that coordinate with your chakras system, your nervous system, your emotional system. And so it's all being designed to awaken you. Sometimes it happens slowly over decades. Sometimes it happens quickly. You hear that. Pranayama, breath practice, is very powerful in awakening Kundalini Shakti. So we'll be talking about pranayama as well. Meditation, mantra, all of these things awaken Kundalini. And they are essential in awakening our sexual energy to be able to make that a very seamless and beautiful integrated process. So, a little bit of mosquitoes here. So, I want to give you one of the basic practices for awakening Kundalini, and it's called mulabhanda, which you've heard about. And it's basically having this lift at your pelvic floor that you lift up and then you release it. And so, and there's Shanti. And so that's just used in your yoga practices, and it's also used in certain pranayama practices. So I just want you to be familiar with that term so that when you hear me say it, you know what I'm talking about. This lift of the pelvic floor, that's mulabhanda. Now, to take it a step further, you have heard us, or you've probably heard the term kegels before, which is this famous doctor from the 1940s that developed these lifts of our pelvic floor to help keep our pelvic floor healthy. For women, mostly. They can be used for men too. And so I like to call kegels mulabhanda lifts or Yoni lifts, or there's other things that we can call them, not necessarily having to use that medical term. That's somebody's name actually, but either way, don't be distracted, Monica. So that process of awakening your pelvic floor is so essential for women. I will share with you some pictures of the pelvic floor of this amazing womb space that you have that contains so many muscles and ligaments and tendons. It's hard to imagine. And so as life progresses and gravity has its effect, it starts to create this sort of prolapsing quality or weakening of the pelvic floor. And so it's essential for women who want to keep that very important pelvic floor that houses so much, including our sexuality, to keep that healthy and strong. And so there are several things that you can do, and one of these, like Yoni lifts, are something that I'll be talking about today. Now, there's one thing that's important to note, and that is that some people, and we're going to have this conversation also, have a very tight yoni, right? And so it can be painful for intimacy. It can be painful for self-pleasure, and it can be something that brings some like shame and like anxiety about ourselves, like, why is this happening? It's very common, and it can be due to many things, including stress, and trauma, and certain physiological situations that each woman deals with. So if that's the case, then instead of doing the actual lifts of the yoni, we're actually going to do this process of releasing the yoni into the earth. And so let's just do a few. So just take a moment to settle in, sit down somewhere where you can feel comfortable. Take a few breaths as you feel the earth rising up through you and through your chakras, all the way up through the cosmos. And then feel the energy coming down through the cosmos, all the way down through your chakras and into the earth. Let's just make this nice and simple, just beginning to coordinate this little flutter of your yoni, your pelvic floor, as you inhale, just this gentle lift. And like I said, for those of you that have the tight yoni, you're just going to breathe. No tightening, no lifting. And then as you exhale, this part you can do, relaxing and releasing and opening your flower yoni towards the earth. So inhaling as you engage, it's almost like you are picking up this little flower with your yoni petals up towards the sky, and exhaling as you release. So just doing that a few rounds. You can use your hands, or you can just imagine that lifting as you inhale up through your chakras, up towards the sky, the sun, the stars, the moon, and feeling all that energy of the sky, the stars, and the moon as you just have a gentle hold of the top of your breath. And then as you exhale, let all of that energy of the moon and the stars and the sun and the cosmos draw down your spine, down through the chakras, all the way, and blessing your yoni, and feeling that quality and that oneness with the earth. And gathering, imagining all of that energy from the earth, the crystals, the emeralds, the diamonds, the rubies, the rivers, the rocks, the ocean, rising up through your yoni as you gently lift all the way up through your being, all the way up, and then slight hold, and then exhale, and bringing that all the way back down, all that cosmic energy back down into your yoni, into your pelvic floor, and just continuing like that. There's a song that I love by Trevor Hall called Bowl of Light. I think of it as womb of light. And just continuing this process and imagining and feeling that your pelvic bowl is a womb of light. And that every pulsation, every Yoni Bandha, every Yoni lift and release, you are bringing more light, more energy into your womb of light, into your pelvic floor, into your yoni. There are so many benefits for your health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, your physiological health, your sexual health. And this is our foundation, the first chakra. And so I would love to invite you to take this into your practice when you sit down for your daily meditation, either at the beginning or at the end. Maybe you can play a song, put a timer on. Maybe you can do it while you do your mantra japa with your mala beads. And then to think about throughout the day, when you feel perhaps a little bit anxious or stressed, or maybe a little sad, or maybe just a little neutral, like, what should I do today? Or just not in a really high vibe place, to remember Yoni Bandha. Remember that you can engage your Kundalini Shakti and bring that energy all the way up through your chakras. And then use that energy to also ground down and release to Mother Earth. Guiding all that energy from the earth. It's so magnificent, so extraordinary, and bringing it into you and back down. And so utilizing your holy body temple to bring yourself more health, more Shakti, more energy, more love, more confidence, more power, more awakening to your spiritual essence, your soul essence, your radiant woman of wisdom. And so enjoy this first practice on Tantra Tuesday. I'm happy to share this with you, and please feel free to leave me any comments, questions, likes, all the things, shares. And remember, all of these practices are self-love practices. And when you love yourself, you love